Hey, it's Gina here at Tarot and Time in Kent, Connecticut with the week ahead tarot and astrology reading for the week of May 2nd. So I want to talk to you about Mercury retrograde because this is the last full week until it starts. And this is considered the shadow period. So we do want to keep an eye out on anything that has to do with communication, anything that has to do with deliveries, purchases, major agreements, signatures, major purchases. It's more the stuff that comes up out of the blue. Some things we just can't avoid, right? We're working, we have our businesses, our jobs, and sometimes we have to move ahead with things or we have to buy things. But this is more the stuff that jumps up out of the blue and oh wow, and look at this, and those are the kind of things that we want to be a little bit more careful about, right? So if you're traveling during the Mercury retrograde period, just check your plans 3 times. If there's contracts to be signed, check them 3 times. Pay extra to have a lawyer check them, and just be a little bit more cautious. So the thing that I find interesting about retrograde is I like to look at the dates and see what ground the retrograde is covering, right? Because Mercury's moving along, the planet of communication, the planet of expression, the planet of, you think of Mercury, it rules the sign Gemini, and it kind of rules your local community and moving around, and rules roadways. So here it is, Mercury's moving along, and then we come to the date of March 10th. So like I said, last full week before retrograde starts. March 10th, it starts to move backwards. Now, it appears to move backwards, but in astrology, you'll see that the planet basically goes back in time. So it's going to move from March 10th, and it's going to move all the way back to the same degree that it was in on April 26th. Okay, so whatever was going on between April 26th and March 10th, we're going to go back over it. Okay, so remember, anything that has the word redo, review, renegotiate, revise. And so you're going to get that chance to go over that again. And then on June 3rd, it's going to go direct. And everybody's excited when it goes direct, right? But then it comes back over that same ground again. So at June 18th, we'll be back into like a fresh start again. We won't be in that going over old stuff. So it's just kind of interesting. It's fun to write down. I love to keep like just a little calendar. It could be your moon calendar. Just what's happened, what's been going on, because then you can look back and see, oh, okay, so those are the themes. That's the ground that I'm going back over, right? And we know that Mercury is now presently in the sign of Gemini, its own sign, which it functions really well in, but it's going to go back and it's going to go back into the sign of Taurus. So we know that Taurus is about value, right? Taurus rules the 2nd house in astrology that has to do with banks. And I love when Sheila Haidt talks about the memory banks of humanity, right? It's a Venus house, Venus sign. So we're going to have these themes: communication with ourselves, about our own value, communication with others. Venus rules relationships. It's our relationship with money, how we talk to ourselves, all those things. So as much as everybody gets a little like, it's retrograde, this is a chance to go deep in and to see what's really going on. Because a retrograde, a lot of times, the way I learned astrology, a retrograde is like inverted, like inside. So retrograde gives you a chance to really go in and see what's going on. So take advantage of the opportunity. That's what's available. So this week is a good time to, if there's any major purchases that need to be made, yes, we are in the shadow period. Personally, I make the purchases right up to the point that it goes into retrograde. So, so you still have a full week, okay? So let's see what else we have going on. We're coming out of, which if you watched last week's video, we're coming out of that new moon, right? So you still may have your moon water outside because the new moon was over the weekend. You may still have your moon water outside Monday, Tuesday, and I would start sipping it I like to pour off. I use a big jug so I can pour off of it all through the period, a few days before, during the new moon, a few days after. So you wrote down your wishes, right? You started thinking about, it's Taurus energy, it's Venus, it's all about value. And we were talking about writing down your wishes, like placing your order and expecting it to be delivered. So I want you to continue envisioning that those dreams, those orders that you made, making space for them to come in. And maybe during the retrograde, you can do a little cleanup work inside to make more space for that. So this week we have 2 planets in the sign of Taurus. We have Uranus, that lightning bolt of change and genius and unexpected, very close to the sun, right? So this could show up that you could have old friends visit. Uranus rules friends. You could have an idea come to mind. You could have sudden things come in. Let's envision those sudden things being positive things. It's in the sign of Taurus. So it could be money. It could be relationships. It could be a new piece of jewelry, right? Maybe someone gifts it to you. Okay, now we have 2 planets in the sign of Gemini. Right now, Mercury is one of them. And we know it's going to move back into Taurus, but right now it's in Gemini. And then we start off with the moon in Gemini. So the moon will be very close to Mercury starting off this week. They're actually at the same degree. So the moon, it's kind of like the most gentle parts of ourselves, who we truly are, that deep kind of nurturing, intuitive energy of the moon, close with Mercury that wants to talk and speak and share. So that's something that's available right now. I know last week I was talking about there being some aspects to Saturn, and to really plan what you're going to say. That aspect to Saturn starts to lighten up this week. Now we have 4 planets in Pisces still. We still have Venus, although it's going to move this week. It's actually moving on Monday into Aries. So then we'll have 3 planets in Pisces. We still have Mars, how we take action, Jupiter, the planet of expansion, spirituality, and Neptune, super creative energy. So as Venus moves into Aries, we may feel a little less dreamy and a little more clarity and a little bit more forward movement. And it can be really passionate because Venus is a symbol for female. Aries is ruled by Mars, which is the symbol for male. So interesting. Okay, so we will have the moon in Gemini Monday, Tuesday, and up till 7 o'clock on Wednesday. Then we will move into the sign of Cancer. So for Thursday, Fridays, and then over the weekend, we're going to have a Leo weekend. So we have Mother's Day this weekend also. Some of my advice was, like, kind of take it slow. This is kind of like maybe like the beginning of the week, kind of bouncing around a little locally. Keep it simple. Then the moon's going to move into Cancer, so you want to be really nurturing to yourself. I know it's Cinco de Mayo this week, so maybe just have a really great meal and a nice time, and just kind of keeping it simple. So we have a little bit of squares. We have a lot of trines, which is considered like a positive aspect, but we also have some like sun square, the square Saturn. We've got the moon square Venus on Thursday. Just look for the opportunity and just avoid conflict and just move through the week, okay? This weekend, it would be really nice if you could get really selfish on Saturday. And I know selfish sounds horrible, but it's not. So do what you want on Saturday. It's going to be kind of moody energy. The moon is going to be opposite Pluto, so it could be moody. You might just want to do whatever you want and just not have to deal a lot with other people. On Sunday, the moon is square Uranus. So Uranus, the way I was seeing that was, since it's Mother's Day, Uranus likes to be really unpredictable, and the moon kind of rules the mother. So maybe you give mom a choice on Mother's Day, like, oh, we could do this, or we could do this, or do you have any idea? Did you want to do something? Or being a little bit less, rigid about it, although Uranus does rule the sign of Aquarius, that's fixed. So maybe she has something in mind that she really wants to do. It's in Leo. So let it be about her, let it be about fun, and just kind of going with the flow a little bit more. It's a great day for music. And I forget why I wrote that down. But I wrote down great day for music. Maybe that's because we're having live music here on our front porch in Kent on Mother's Day. So if you want to stop by for that, 3 to 5, we're going to have Glory Wilder playing on our front porch. And if you don't know her, check her out on YouTube. She just so happens to be my daughter. And we're going to have some sales here, and we never had a real grand opening, so we're having a little grand opening, and we're going to have some fun giveaways in that too. So stop in if you're in Kent. Okay, so we talked about retrograde. Remember, it's still Taurus season, right? So this is like, Taurus is just such a lovely, beautiful time. It's Venus, and it's about savoring and enjoying the finer things of life. And then with all that Pisces energy, we can really dream and create and really just kind of bask in the ideas that we have. And then with this Gemini energy kind of coming in, we can start to take a little more action, especially as Venus moves into Aries. Yeah, so that's, I think, everything I wanted to talk to you about the week ahead. Thanks for listening. We're going to jump over into the cards. So I picked for the piles this week, I'm using the Lovers card because I chose it for a couple of reasons. One, the Lovers card is one of the cards of the year, right? 2022 is a 6th year in numerology. You add up 2022, it equals the number 6. And the tarot cards associated with number 6 are the Lovers card and the Devil card. Yeah. Those are our cards of the year. So interesting year. So also the Lovers is ruled by Gemini, and it's about really, yes, it's about love, but it's about taking that deep breath before jumping into major decisions. I have a Gemini moon. I think that's why I talk a lot. So Gemini kind of moves, goes quick, right? But it needs to be reminded to breathe, slowly move into things, okay? So for pile number 1 from the Witch's Tarot, I have this beautiful Lovers card. For pile number 2 from the Tattoo Tarot, I really like this snake version of the Lovers. And for pile number 3 from the beautiful Forest of Enchantment deck, we're going with this Lovers card here. So go ahead, pick your pile, let's get started. Pile number 1, the Lovers. It almost reminds me of Temperance on the top with that beautiful angel kind of putting her hand out to you. Okay, I'm working with 4 different decks here today. The Muse Tarot, the Green Witch, the Dark Mansion, and the Modern Witch. Let's see what you need to know this week ahead. During Venus season, I know everyone likes to talk about love. Also self-love, and Venus rules relationships also. Starting off with the King of Wands. And I think this is an interesting version of the King of Wands because, you know, he's always portrayed as like such a traveler and so out there. And here he's just in front of the fire, holding his wand, kind of savoring it, relaxing. It's got a, well, I thought it was a cat, but it's some little creature by his feet. And this is kind of how I was feeling this week. It's like, yeah, just kind of do what you want. Avoid conflict. There's some moodiness, but there's also a lot of opportunity too. So, just kind of savoring. This is coming up in the heart of the matter is the 7 of Wands. She's overseeing a lot. Don't you love this Modern Witch deck? 7 of Fire. 7 is your spiritual path. It's coming up in the heart position. It feels like there's a lot of choices. There's a lot of things to oversee, kind of obstacles to overcome. Here's the 4 of Inspiration, which would traditionally be called the 4 of Wands. So more fire, sitting together in a group, meditating, envisioning. That's supporting the heart of the matter. So you might have a lot that you're overseeing, but you might still want to take that time to gather, to meditate, to sit, to be still. It feels like you're not doing anything, but actually like you're gathering energy with others. See your foundation card. We have the 5 of Pentacles. often considered the poverty mentality card, but it's a 5. It's about change. That's funny. She's like actually pulling change out of that bag. So, I don't know, it kind of feels like it's like almost like poor me, or there's never enough, or you know what's interesting? I just noticed this. There's a lizard on that tree in the snow. It's almost like out of his element, not feeling like you belong there. Interesting with like this almost like Stonehenge reference in the back. This is the Green Witch Tarot. It's one of my newer decks that I've been working with. We have it in stock here. It's almost like there's magic behind her. There's a lizard there, which feels like, it's almost like she's just seeing like the coldness and the negative about her situation. And there's kind of magic around. It's very interesting. All right, behind the scenes, here's that Temperance card. I was just saying that the Lovers reminded me of Temperance. So there's Temperance. It's Jupiter. It brings luck and blessings and expansion. It's coming up behind the scenes here. Here's the 5 of Voices, 5 of Swords. I like how they're sitting in meditation too. So that came up next to this card. So there's definitely just a need to sit, listen to the thoughts, see what needs to go. It is coming in next to Temperance also. So you don't want to just keep doing that and like having them get bigger, right? Because Temperance wants to expand everything. So this is kind of like, let's let this stuff out. Let's let that go. Let's make space in us and let that be what grows bigger. Now in the future position, you have the World card. So this is the last major arcana. This is also ruled by Saturn, something kind of coming to an end, but this is an interesting like wall of photos of a family. So that is in your future position, and the Knight of Swords. He's ready to go. Talk about Gemini. Okay, so interesting. It's kind of like there's these opportunities to just kind of enjoy what there is, even though you might want to go, but you need to kind of savor what you have. And it is Taurus season. So it's kind of like Taurus is often like an indulgent time, right? You can have a little bit of extra things. Taurus loves good food and it rules beautiful things. Also rules money, right? So there's that energy, but then there's like this like slow down. Yes, there's a lot that you're overseeing, but you don't want to miss the bigger picture. You don't want to miss the magic here because you're caught in your head overthinking. So this is saying like, almost like I'm getting from this card, that term, like this too shall pass. Like, yes, that's all going on. And yes, you might be overseeing your family a lot, but you need some downtime from the thinking. And it could just be a simple meditation. It could just be simply slowing down. Slowing down. You might feel a little bit out of your element. You want to kind of rush through this. Okay, remember, whatever you don't deal with now, like when we go back over all this time period, you're going to take another look at it again. So let's be aware of that. Okay, I'm going to pull a few more cards because I feel like I missed something. I also want to I'm going to roll dice first and see what the theme planets are here. We've got Neptune in Sagittarius in the 5th house. Okay, well, Neptune, Sagittarius, 5th house. So Neptune is that cloudy, creative, watery planet. In the sign of Sagittarius, that kind of Sagittarius likes to jump ahead and was very spiritual also. It's about the bigger picture. And then the 5th house is like the house of fun. It's the house of like romance and fun excursions, and it's the heart, and it's Leo. And we're going into that Leo weekend. So just kind of getting from this, it's like, okay, there's a lot of caretaking, overseeing, a lot of things you're handling. There's a need to just gather, maybe just go to a yoga class, go to a meditation class, go find a little peace inside, make some space inside, and because you're missing the magic kind of, and you don't want to miss that. so let me get a couple more cards if there's anything else. 2 cards. 3 of Swords and the 7 of Pentacles. Okay. 3 of Swords. She's like approaching that house. There's that swan. We know they mate for life. And then here's the 7 of Pentacles. He's shellacking his pentacles. So it almost feels like it's like you're running the same roads of thought. Maybe you're going back and trying to make a relationship work because you thought it was forever, and it's just almost like you're not seeing the full picture. You mean well, but you're just, it's, I don't know, I'm getting a lot of like working vibes, and then kind of like almost like a little bit of like desperation over some love. Let's see what that is. Got the Tower and the 5 of Swords. Yeah, it's almost like repeated pain, repeated self-inflicted, like I just don't think you're seeing yourself in the proper light. It's like you're seeing yourself in this like poverty way, when really here's this guy with a peacock in the background and the peacock feather, just such beauty and such prosperity. Here's the Tower came in here too. So I feel like you're trying to hold something together that wants to fall apart. You're seeing yourself from your self-esteem is a little bit low, and you're ready to change that, and you're ready. And I think this Mercury retrograde is going to actually help you, because you can start revisiting those thoughts that you're talking to yourself. There's some thoughts that you're having about yourself that you're just not valuing yourself. You're not thinking of yourself high enough, and you're ready to change that. So I'm going to pull a couple self-care cards and see what you can do to help yourself the best this week. Connect with crystals. And it's interesting because she's sitting again in a meditation. Okay, well, crystals are great. It's fun to feel the different vibes of them. I think when you get quiet enough, you can almost feel that. And what else? One more self-care card for the week. Plan a vacation. Oh yeah. Did roll Sagittarius. You did roll Neptune, Sagittarius, 5th house. So Neptune would be like that dreamy vacation, like by the ocean because it's water. Sagittarius wants to go see something new. 5th house is fun. And so there's something there. It's like, let's stop running these same painful roads. Let's start looking at stepping up and taking some action, seeing yourself in the proper light, taking care of yourself, giving yourself credit. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do 2 more. 8 of Swords and the High Priestess. You're like so over this. You feel stuck when truly you are free. This is your thoughts making you feel stuck. And here's the High Priestess, and she's mixing the recipe just for her to make the magic that she wants in her life and her relationships. And so I want you to just kind of slow down, savor, get a little quieter, take a look at what's going on, what thoughts you're telling yourself, what you're believing. I don't think you're valuing yourself properly in one of your relationships. I think it's a love relationship. And you feel bound and you are really free. And so as you realize this freedom, and maybe you plan a symbolic trip, even if it's to the next town over, just to show yourself that you can and you will and you want to and you love yourself enough. Have a great week. Pile number 2, these snakes. I like that it looks like a staircase there underneath the snakes there. Okay, so the Lovers, Gemini. Let's see what we've got here for the week ahead. I haven't looked at any of these cards yet. I'm working with 4 decks and a self-care oracle here. Let's see what you need to know. You're starting off with the Page of Wands. Oh, I think we've got two. Do we have two cards here? No, it's not. Page of Wands. Young, fiery, ready for an adventure. Okay. What's going on in the heart of the matter? The Eight of Voices, Eight of Swords. Okay, this Eight of Swords came up in the first deck, pile two. So here we are, kind of thinking the same thoughts, getting caught in the loop, feeling stuck, when really the first card that came up is really a card of freedom. But you feel, your heart feels a little stuck, okay? And a lot of times with the Eight of Swords, the person's fine. They just think they're stuck. Here's the Sun. Doesn't feel very stuck. Looks beautiful and magical and joyous. Sun is a Leo card. We're going to have a Leo weekend this weekend. Let's see what your foundation card is. Ace of Wands. Something new, something fun, new adventure. Coming in on the bottom here. All right, not looking too bad. Behind the scenes, Two of Pentacles. Two indicates relationship, right? Pentacles, value, money, worth, earthy energy behind the scenes. Coming in next to the Eight of Swords. It's interesting that this is the 8, the infinity loop, and then this net looks like an 8 also. So maybe your self-worth is a little off kilter right now. Maybe you're not seeing yourself clearly. Queen of Wands, she's coming in behind the scenes. She's ready to go. She's a traveler. She's coming in next to the Sun. Very opposite to this Eight of Swords. Very dynamic. All right, future position, we have the Seven of Swords. What's going on there? Looks like he's holding a bunch like bunnies or some kind of animal that he's killed. There's a skunk crossing the path. This looks like they might be not getting along, maybe. Or the skunk is trying to keep him away. And the Ace of Swords. All right, I'm getting the impression that like this looks to me like you're very much held into a situation. Maybe you're held here financially. Maybe there's something like maybe you're in a marriage and one person is the provider and the other person's home. Something like that where like you feel very reliant on the other person. And right now there's like all this energy of just wanting to go. And I'm noticing in my readings too, I think, you know, we forget that we're still coming out of a pandemic. We're coming out of being held. And now we're starting, you know, trying to find our way back into the world. And so there's something here where it's like, I don't know, there's kind of like stuck energy or like not really great communication. There's something that's ready to change here. It's like, here's dandelions. We're in that season. There's this new thought and this new cutting away. I'm going to pull a few more because I want to get a little bit more clear here. If I'm on the right path with you, let's see what else you need to know. Queen of Cups. Okay. Queen of Cups. Queen of Emotion. Interesting how she's kind of just solo there, holding this huge cup. The Horned God. The Emperor. What a guy. Wow. And the Page of Swords. Which kind of reminds me of this sword. Okay. So it's almost like, I don't know, I think it keeps showing me like relationships, feeling held, feeling bound, feeling maybe codependent or just feeling financially dependent. There's a need for a lightness. There's need to like untwist from this twisted togetherness. I'm not saying that you have to break up. I just think that there's something here about needing to feel freer. Let me see what the best advice for you is. Page of Wands. Best advice for you. Page of Pentacles and the Wheel of the Year. Okay, so this is kind of like he's doing his magic here, and then he's kind of doing his magic here. So it's almost like you got to get busy doing your own thing. There's a little bit too much wrapped togetherness here. Get busy doing what brings you fun. Get busy doing crafts and things and work that makes you excited, your thing. You need your own thing. And then it'll feel a little less dependent. And here's the Wheel of the Year, which is the Wheel of Fortune, which is basically asking you to surrender, but this is the Wheel of Fortune. There's all these holidays on here, and it's landed on Yule. Okay, I'm just gonna pull a couple more. Getting some bonus ones here, let's see. Oh, well, these are falling out, so let's go with these. Okay, Ace of Cups, the Hierophant, Nine of Swords. Cup of Satisfaction, which was what this queen looked like she was holding. The Hierophant, usually seen as a man in this position. I love that it's a woman here. Position of power. She's in a position of finding her inner truth, her higher power. It's a 5, so it's about change. Here's the 9 of Swords. Good old human card of overthinking. So you need to connect higher. You got to connect with your higher power. However you can do that, whether that's just sitting in meditation or going for a walk in the woods, you're ready to take some control here back, getting your power back. And there's something here that like there's a lack of satisfaction here, and I'm not trying to blame a relationship that you're in, but like it's kind of lost some of its pizzazz, or maybe you just feel held to it. And so I see the solution as just spending some time alone, coming together for like big occasions, but taking some downtime, letting yourself get a little selfish this week and going on some adventures, even if it's just a hike. And then starting to feel a little freer and reminding yourself that anything, things are temporary, and there's more freedom coming. Enjoying the simple things, the simple, like being in nature, playing in that kind of magical realm. There's a lot of Pisces energy right now. So kind of using that, playing, creating more of a lightness. I'm going to pull a couple I'm going to roll dice first, actually. Let's see what we got. Moon, Capricorn, 11th house. So Moon in Capricorn, I mean, it's a little hard with the Moon in Capricorn because Capricorn wants to go, 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 go. And the Moon is delicate and gentle, like a more feminine part of ourselves. And it needs more rest and savoring and relaxation and self-care. And so you might be working a lot, or maybe your partner's working a lot. And the 11th house is Aquarius's house. It's kind of rules friends. It rules new ways of thinking. And so maybe there's a new way of setting up a schedule. Maybe there's a new way to live. Maybe you need to spend more time with your friends. Okay, let me do a couple self-care cards for you. Let's see what you need to know for self-care. Got one here. Ah, interesting. Got the sex card. I think isn't it wild that it's part of the self-care oracle? So there's that one. And then spend time with animals too. So maybe, you did get the Ace of Cups, you did get the Sun card. So maybe that you've been in these roles in your relationship where you just like are always the one cooking, or always the one cleaning, or always the one, maybe you're just working a lot too. But there's something here where it's like taking time out to savor for the things that are really important and fun, and then spending time with animals. So I see you kind of like when you are like, you need the alone time, you need the nature time, you need the time with the animals, you need the time with your friends. And then when you do get back together with your partner, or however your life works, you'll feel more refreshed and recharged, and there's a little bit more passion there. Okay, so have a fabulous week ahead. Pile number 3. this lovely Lovers card from Forest of Enchantment. Love the big tree. All right, what do you need to know this week ahead? Using 4 different decks, and we're going to use a self-care oracle also. Haven't looked at any of these yet. Let's see what you need to know this week ahead. So we're starting off with the Hanged Man or the Hanged Muse in this Muse Tarot deck. Taking a look at things from a different perspective. This is a card of divine delay. Let's see what's going on. The heart of the matter. Nope, let me try shuffling these again. The heart of the matter. 10 of Voices. Interesting that that one's upside down and kind of upside down. And they're lingering. Need some rest. Too much thinking. Too much media. Too much mind stimulation. 10 of Chalices. 10 of Cups coming in to support the heart of the matter. It's really beautiful. It's traditionally called the Happy Family card. They're just savoring. It's very much like that, right? Kind of doing things a little bit differently, resting, savoring the beauty of nature. Taurus is such a beautiful earth sign. Foundation is the Page of Swords. It's like a new way of thinking coming in on the bottom, letting go of some of these things that you don't have control over. Behind the scenes, we have the 6 of Pentacles. A little Libra reference up there with the scales. 6 of Pentacles. This is a 6 year in numerology. It's the year of the gift. Almost like you're receiving funds. 5 of Pentacles. So it's interesting that you're receiving, giving, receiving, and then it's like here's that poverty mentality coming in there. So are you like counting your blessings? Are you looking at the things? Are you looking at it from the right perspective? Maybe not, because you've got all these upside downs. It's time to look at where the gifts are coming in. And maybe you feel like you're the one who has to do everything. Maybe you're just tired of it. But I think that it's just when we're tired, it's easy to just see things incorrectly. Future position is the King of Swords. I love that this is a woman King of Swords. This is big business. It's also, she's got butterflies on her throne. So there's this like theme of transformation, of beauty, of like seizing the day. I don't think butterflies live that long. Seizing the day and also making really good boundaries and just not like turning your phone off. Just don't allow everyone to have access to you. There's so much overstimulation here. Here's the Knight of Cups. Kind of going for what he wants. Very romantic. I feel like there's just a need to kind of just savor, to try to slow down a little bit and look at things from a little bit of a different perspective. Let me see what else. Is there anything else that you need to know? What's important this week? The 2 of Wands and the 10 of Pentacles. So here's the 2 of Wands. She's kind of waving. Is she waving hello or goodbye? But it's a 2, so it's in relationship. And then we have the 10 of Pentacles where they're kind of just like, there's like a kingfisher there. There's a little kid playing. There's all this pentacles on the wall. There's this family like legacy going on. And so basically, I feel like every pile has been saying the same thing. Rest, self-care, slowing down, enjoying. Too much mental stimulation. Not looking at things from the right perspective. Looking at things from the negative due to exhaustion. Pluto, Aries, 4th house. Aries wants to just like go, do. Oh, let's go. Let's new ideas, new this. It's Mars, right? And Pluto wants to transform that. And then the 4th house is all about nurturing and self-care and the home. There's a bit of continual theme here. All right, let me pull a few more is the Lovers. Is there anything about love? There's a lot of savoring. The World, and she's naked. And the Empress. The World. The Empress. She's very fertile. Okay. It's kind of just like spend some time with your partner, spend some time with somebody you love, spend some time with somebody who you can really be yourself with. There's kind of like this is like the end of the story, so it's like a new chapter is starting. And the Empress is all about Venus, and you know, we're in Taurus season, and here she is, and she's going to savor the beauty of her life. And you know, she loves fine things, and so really looking at what's working, and then what needs to change. You start making a plan for what needs to change. A little more rest, a little more savoring, a little bit more relaxing. I'm going to pull a couple self-care oracle cards so we can see how you can best take care of yourself this week. Meditate. Oh, you're getting 3. Create art and connect with your womb. Okay, I just feel like there's a really fertile vibe here, so if you're, just be aware of that. If you're looking for more children, there's a lot of that kind of energy there. If you're not, then be aware of that. Meditate. Just kind of being outside, savoring it, enjoying, resting, creating art, and connect with your womb. And that's written as the sign of Aries. Venus is going to go into Aries, so it's going to be a little bit more like Pisces. It's kind of like woo and dreamy and romantic and slightly delusional. That's going to be in Aries, and Aries wants to go and let's get out there. And so there's that kind of shift happening this week. You need to rest up and you need to take care of yourself, and knowing that there's like this fertile energy around. It's like before you put more on your plate, make sure that you got a good stable self-care routine in place, because your body's really asking for that for sure. All right, I'm going to end with 2 more cards for you for this week ahead. Anything else that you need to know? 5 of Emotions and the Knight of Voices. Okay, so the 5 of Emotions is like you might just need a good cry. Okay, ready to change up some thoughts. It looks like ice, so it's like things that maybe have been frozen. It's time to like just melt, let those come out, have the good cry. It doesn't usually last as long as you think it's gonna. And then the Knight of Voices or Knight of Swords, he's beautiful. It's Gemini energy, air energy. We're starting off the week with the moon in Gemini. So there, you know, maybe there's some things you need to speak up gently and move forward from, and just be extra kind to yourself this week and enjoy this beautiful Taurus season. Have a great week.